This podcast is brought to you by Most Valuable Podcasts, leading the league in podcasting entertainment.
Hey, football fans, and welcome to the Onside Kick. My name is Ricky Widmer, and as always, I'm joined by the Mark Weber.
Dub them ease.
And Mark, we're here on the Onside Kick this week. We're talking Black Monday. Actually, we're on Tuesday, so it's the day after Black Monday, but we've got some open jobs in the NFL now.
Plenty.
We've got, and we're going to be talking about playoffs and then LA relocation later, but we're going to be starting with these coaching vacancies, and the ones we've got going out, we've got the New York Giants, the Cleveland Browns, the San Francisco 49ers, the Eagles, which we talked about last week. We knew that job was open. The Dolphins, the 49ers, and the Titans. Those are the ones that are open for sure. Now, there's other ones here where Jim Caldwell's on the ice. We don't know if he's going to get fired or not. Sean Payton's a coach that everyone's watching, but we've got these openings, and I'm just going to, plain and simple, for you right now, if you were a head coach or a coach looking to be a head coach in the NFL, which job's the most attractive one to you?
Miami Dolphins. No joke.
Because of the Tannehills?
I love the Tannehills. But they are the team that is set up to win, not necessarily now, but soon. I mean, you've got Ndamukong Suh. He's a beast. He destroys. And that defense should be a lot better than they played. You've got Ryan Tannehill, who's got a lot of talent, even though he didn't really perform that well this season. You have your, basically what I'm saying for, yes, you're going to deal with the Patriots. You're going to deal with the Jets. But this is a team that's going to be that up-and-comer. Everything's building up. They've been this team where every year for the past 2-3 years, people are saying, watch those Dolphins. They're going to do it.
Well, we thought, and by we all, I mean you and me, thought the Dolphins would be a playoff team this year.
Well, I thought they were going to do really well this year. I really
had them as a
believe in
10-win team this year at the beginning of the season.
And they really should have been better than they were. The defense, the wide receivers, you don't have anything that makes you too excited. But Devontae Parker was a young guy that they just drafted. He's something you should be excited with. I know you loved him in the offseason.
We drafted him in fantasy.
Yes, we did, and we regretted that decision.
Dropped him almost immediately.
Yeah. You have that. Jordan Cameron, coming out of Cleveland, should be a lot better than he is right now, at least that he was for this season. There's a lot of good pieces here. Fix the offensive line and just plug and play some extra stuff. Maybe get a really good weapon in the wide receiving option. Those are some of the few things that you can do to take this team to the next level if you're going to be coming in to that Miami Dolphins job. It's not a bad job to take, even though this team definitely underperformed.
See, I'm going to go I'm going to stay in the same conference as you, but I'm going to go with a completely different team. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. And the main reason for me why the Titans are the most attractive team is you've got a young quarterback. You've got not just a young quarterback, but you have a quarterback that has the mind and the skill to be not only the face of a franchise, but the franchise. And to me, I know that everyone talks about, well, Ricky, when head coaches come in, some of them like to say, hey, you know what? Let me get my own guy. Let me go out there and draft my own guy. Hey, guess what? Unless you love Paxton Lynch or love Jared Goff, you're not getting your guy this year. So the Titans already have a guy in Marcus Mariota. The rest of the team may need a little work. However, the one position that is the crucial and most important for any team, you got arguably one of the best.
Although, no, you don't arguably have one of the best.
For the rookies?
You've got a mobile quarterback who already has been hurt and had to miss time. How is that one of the best? I'd rather have Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tannehill hasn't missed his time.
For me, and I'm just saying he's a young guy. Of course, he had to deal with injuries later. But with me,
I'm scared of an RG3 situation.
Because I don't run the Chip Kelly system, and I'm more of the I would come in and say, okay, Marcus, I would just show him film of Cam Newton and say, this is what I want you to become.
Get him that Kevlar armor that Cam Newton wears.
Well, because Cam Newton's a mobile guy, but Cam Newton isn't that mobile guy to where it's like, okay, I am going to run for yardage. He looks to pass first. Mm-hmm. He's improved his pocket passing. Or I'm going to Marcus Mariota and I'm showing him film of Big Ben, Blake Bortles, a guy that came in a year before him, and say, hey, you know what? You don't have to run. Yeah, you have that ability. You can break off an 80-yard run like it's nothing.
Yeah.
But you don't have to.
The one thing I will say, which would scare me comparing Cam Newton to Marcus Mariota, is the fact that Cam Newton's got about 20-some pounds.
I know.
He's a big guy. Not saying that Marcus Mariota is not a big guy, but if anyone's designed to take hits, it's Cam Newton.
Can just barrel through people.
Yeah, he's got that Big Ben
Marcus
type
Mariota is
situation.
more of an elusive, like, I'm going to break off 80-yard runs and not take an entire hit on that run. But I would say that, to me, just because maybe it's because I like Marcus Mariota and he's a quarterback that I would fit into an offense. I'll tell you this, my second most attractive job, the Giants. Mm-hmm. The reason being is if you come into that Giants job, you can say, okay, I've got Eli Manning, 2-time Super Bowl champion Eli Manning.
Some would say the better Manning.
The better Manning. You have him, and you're able to then say, okay, which quarterback do I like in this draft? That's my guy to sit behind Eli if you want to draft your guy this year.
Yeah. You know, I would like the idea of going to I'm forgetting their name, the New York Giants. If it wasn't for the fact that I'd be scared, do I have Ben McAdoo there? Do I lose Ben McAdoo, the offensive coordinator, who's the guy who essentially took Eli Manning, constantly underperforming in this offense, after that second Super Bowl victory, and brought them up to one of the best in the league offenses. That offense is great. They score so many points. I think, what is it, the 6th? Yes, the 6th most points in the NFL. This team knows how to score points. Now, part of that's because the defense is bad and they have to score points. But if you lose Ben McAdoo, because Ben McAdoo is being considered by teams to get the head coaching job.
Well, and according to
that's not going to be good if you lose him.
According to NFL.com, when they're listing off with the Giants job, the Giants have said, and this is co-owner John Maris said that the Ben McAdoo, who's the offensive coordinator, and then Steve Spagnuolo, who's the DC, will be interviewed.
And they
However, McAdoo was interviewed today, apparently, earlier today. However, the Giants have put in a request to interview Adam Gase from the Chicago Bears.
As I think a lot of teams are going to do. He's one of the
Well, he was in the running
guys.
for one of the head coaching jobs last year.
For a lot, yeah. Yeah, he definitely was. I think, personally, if I'm the New York Giants, I'm going to promote from within.
Do you want a defensive guy or an offensive guy?
No, I'm taking Ben McAdoo. He's my...
Okay.
He is the guy who said, hey, Eli, I know you love throwing interceptions, but you can't do that. That's how we lose games. And that's how Eli Manning, has definitely improved on the whole throwing interceptions thing. Team scores all these points with him.
Could Adam Gase then be able to work with him because he worked with his older brother?
He's worked with lesser Manning, that's true. So if he wants
older in age, but not in skill.
Not in skill. Not if you want to win some Super Bowls.
Not in rings either, yeah.
Yep. So if he wants to work with a Manning that knows how to win 2 Super Bowls, then maybe he wants to. But the problem I have with that is if you're going to go grab an offensive-minded guy, you've got a good offensive-minded guy on the team right now. Why not just promote him? Instead of risking losing him and then just basically replacing him with a fairly lateral move. Because Ben McAdoo's I think he's underrated. I don't think he's getting enough interviews so far. And there are some teams supposedly that are interested in him.
Well, right now, Adam Gase is the guy. He's the main guy.
Yeah.
Which everyone is looking at, and rightfully so.
Now, if I am Adam Gase in this situation, I don't want to go to New York because you have an older quarterback. I want to go somewhere that has a young quarterback. Someone that I can work with for a while because he's a young coach. I want to be somewhere where I'm going to be with this guy for a while. If I go to Eli Manning, I can get my quarterback of the future. But like you said, Bricky, you're not probably going to get him now. You got maybe 3 or 4 years of Eli Manning left before it's done. I don't know if I would want that job in that case.
You know who I don't hire if I'm the Giants?
Who's that?
Steve Spagnuolo. The reason why I say no is we've seen Steve as a head coach for the Rams from 2009 to 2011. Overall 10-38, 1-15, 7-9, 2-14. That's 2 seasons where he had under 3 wins.
Yeah.
I mean, now you could say, well, what did he have to work with in St. Louis? But I see that and I go, nope, no, thank you.
Another guy that, is his name's being thrown around a little bit, who is very well known for his head coaching experience that failed miserably. Josh McDaniels. His name's getting thrown around a bit again.
But see, the thing with McDaniels that I thought of is just not a good head coach. Mm-hmm. He went back to New England where he was able to be an effective coordinator. Looking at one of your most attractive job, though, the Dolphins, per Ian Rappaport, he says that they have real interest in ex-Falcons coach Mike Smith, who interviewed Monday. Do you like that?
I actually do like that. I think it makes sense. Mike Smith.
Because Mike Smith is kind of pulling the Lovey right now.
Yeah, exactly.
The Lovey-Smith, 2 Smiths, where take the year off, then come back, coach a team in Florida.
Mm-hmm. I definitely would like that. He's a guy who could take advantage of what they have. Mm-hmm. And they're going to look at Matt Ryan and what he was able to do with that team under Mike Smith and be like, hey, we would love to have that with our guy, Ryan Tannehill. We would love that. I think that's a good fit. Mike Smith, I think, if you can't get Adam Gase, if you can't get, I don't even know who I would put it in the number 2 situation.
The Dolphins are also planning on interviewing Gase.
Yeah.
They have interviews lined up with Gase and then Anthony Lynn. Mm-hmm. However, they have already interviewed, here's the interesting one to me, Mike Shanahan.
Yeah, that's
and
right.
And Terrell Austin. Shanahan, though, he's old. He is. Look at what he did with the Redskins. Do you even want that on your team?
But there was a lot of, similar to the Harbaugh situation when Harbaugh got ran out of San Francisco, there was just a lot of internal strife.
Yeah, Schneider's not an
you don't want to
owner.
work with him.
Yeah.
You know who took a year off, not by choice, and will probably be coming back, and I think he should go to somewhere we haven't talked about yet. Jimmy Schwartz.
Should go to Cleveland?
Yeah, I would love it. I would love to see him go to Cleveland. It just makes sense, doesn't it?
You know what would be an even weirder Cleveland job? Is if Hugh Jackman,
correct.
I almost said Hugh Jackman. Hugh Jackson goes from Cincy to Cleveland.
Wouldn't it be cool if they said, hey, Hugh Jackman, you just got to dress up as Wolverine and then you can coach our team? That would make sense. Yeah, I mean, Hugh Jackman's name getting thrown around a little bit, too. Because I don't know if you would want to go from better Ohio team to terrible garbage Ohio team.
You brought him up, so, I mean, the Browns right now, here's who they're looking at. They've got interviews lined up with Adam Gase, Doug Marrone, Terrell Austin, the Bengals DC, Paul Gunther, and then Sean McDermott. They've also requested to be interviewing Hugh Jackson.
Yeah.
So really, they're saying, we just want anybody from the Bengals.
I doubt that the Bengals are going to really want to give them much of anything.
Yeah. And right now, it's like, if I'm the Bengals, I tell the Browns, no.
Too bad.
No, you're not interviewing him right now because we're in the playoffs.
Another person who could possibly come back into head coaching experience, Doug Marrone. You might remember him from his failure with the Bills. Yet he actually, made them look not so terrible. And suddenly the Bills are actually a decent team. You might want to give him a little bit of credit for that. He's kind of getting his name thrown around with pretty much everybody. I don't necessarily know. He might be the kind of guy who goes to one of these jobs that people aren't going to want. Maybe the Cleveland job, maybe the Philadelphia Eagles job. He might be able to steal one of these away because not many other people are going to want it.
In his 2 seasons at Buffalo, 6-10, 9-7.
Yeah. So he was on an upward trend.
He's 15-17 as a head coach. And he was the assistant head coach in Jacksonville. over the past since 2000. So this past year.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll be interesting. The job that I want the least, obviously, is
The
Cleveland.
Browns, yeah.
Yeah, you don't want anything to do with that mess. But honestly, San Francisco and Philadelphia are not much better.
And Philadelphia, they interviewed Adam Gase already. They will interview interim coach Pat Shurmur for the head coaching vacancy. They're also going to interview Terrell Austin. And Austin is an interesting one, too, because if I'm a Detroit Lions fan, he is to the Lions what Adam Gase is to the Bears fans, where Bears fans, and Mark, you can disagree with me if I'm wrong, but most Bear fans are like, Adam, stay. Stay, Adam. We need you. Whereas Detroit fans are probably like, no, don't go anywhere, Terrell. Don't go anywhere. We need you.
Yeah, I don't know what the replacement would be in Chicago for him.
But Terrell Austin could be the kind of like the Dan Quinn or the Todd Bowles that we see go to a team, become the head coach after being a coordinator. Todd Bowles, 10-win season.
Yeah.
Missed the playoffs by virtually a game. And then you had Dan Quinn, which team started out hot as hell and then cooled off.
Can we talk about the New York Jets for a second, just to reference how
bad I thought they were going to be?
Ryan Fitzmagic did exactly what Ryan Fitzmagic does, which is end this season with lots of interceptions. That was fantastic. I mean, he was not throwing interceptions all year. That last game, when they needed him, I think it was twice, interception. Ryan Fitzmagic, that's the Fitzmagic we've been waiting for.
And then the 49ers, names that are being thrown out for them. Chip Kelly has expressed interest. Mike Shanahan's going to be looked at. Hugh Jackson. You're going to have the running back coach in Buffalo that I mentioned, Anthony Lynn. To me, if I'm San Francisco, that's the only job that Chip Kelly makes sense for because of Kaepernick.
Besides the Titans.
Oh, okay, the Titans a little bit. I forgot about the Mariota thing, but Titans and Niners. Niners more than the Titans because Kaepernick, I feel, because of his experience, would be better for Chip than Mariota.
I really don't know that the San Francisco 49ers want much more of Colin Kaepernick. I think they've about had it. They're probably going to let the coach make that decision, but I think they're done.
It's interesting that Chip Kelly expressed interest to the team. Not usually we hear the other way around, like, oh, the team wants to interview this guy. No, Chip Kelly was like, hey, I want your job.
Chip Kelly does what he wants. He's expressed that. He's proven that.
And that's a thing. Jed York, the CEO of the Niners, announced that Trent, I hope I'm saying this name right, Balky, is going to be, he's going to remain as the general manager.
Yeah.
But Chip Kelly likes to be the GM.
Yeah.
So, and I know we talked about this before. I'm just going to say it again. If Chip Kelly wants to coach in the NFL, he has to just be the head coach. No other team is going to look at what he did and say, yeah, let's give you both jobs.
Yeah, because really, I mean, his coaching wasn't that bad. It wasn't a problem.
His player personnel and how he treats people as humans.
It's a disaster.
I mean, look at Tom Coughlin, who just got fired in air quotes. I put air quotes around him, but he just got fired.
Well, I think he stepped down.
He stepped down from the New York Giants. I said Jets, I meant Giants. And everything on Twitter, everything on ESPN, great words.
People love the guy.
And I bet he's a great man. However, I kind of agree with Stephen A. Smith. Have you seen the past couple of years?
Yeah.
Have you seen, I mean, Stephen A. Smith.
I mean, like the past 6 years.
He talks a little bit from the heart because being a New York guy, being a New York fan, he kind of speaks a little bit more from that heart, even though I believe Stephen A. has Philly ties as well. But I bet he's a great man, but
Isn't
it's
he
like...
I thought he was a Jets fan, not a Giants fan.
I don't know. I know he's a New York guy because he mentioned the Porzingis, the Knicks and everything. But that was one thing that caught me. It's like, this is like the first guy that got fired, and everyone is just praising him. Because let's be honest, if he didn't resign, he was getting fired.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. He's won Super Bowls, so they like him there. And they gave him this little gracious ending. I don't know. I mean, I'm not 100% sure that Tom Coughlin comes back and coaches. I think he honestly might just be done. He might get one of these cushy little, Fox 1 Sports or ESPN jobs where he just comes in, kind of Bill Polian style, gives his opinion every now and then he goes back home because he doesn't need to work. He's got plenty of money. He's set. He doesn't need to do anything. He can basically just retire and hang out on the golf course if he wants. I'm not convinced he comes back and coaches anymore. I think he might be done.
One thing I want to mention. This is not a vacancy, but this is one I mentioned. Jim Caldwell.
Mm-hmm.
His fate, the reason why we haven't heard anything if he's going to be fired or not, is because the Lions are looking for a new GM. And some of the guys they're looking at is, number one, Will McClay, the Cowboys assistant director of player personnel. And then
he said no, I thought already.
And then they're also, he did decide to stay put.
Yeah.
And then the other guy they're looking at, all it says here on NFL.com is that they looked at him.
They literally made eye contact.
The Patriots pro scouting director, Bob Quinn, and the co-director, personnel director, Trent Kirchner. Those are the two guys. So for Caldwell, it all depends on who they get as GM. Mark, you get hired as the Detroit Lions general manager.
I do.
Do you fire or keep Jim Caldwell?
I'm going to keep Jim Caldwell because I don't like very many of my options otherwise. I don't think I'm going to be able to attract one of the the top 3 guys in this candidacy poll here pool. So I'm just going to keep him. And he's a good coach. He didn't really do well this year. Things were falling apart, especially compared to that first year where things were great. But I'm going to believe in him. I'm going to give him another shot.
I fire him if I can get... There's only one coach I want. And if I get this coach...
Is John Gruden?
Nope. Well, John Gruden would be great. But realistically, if I can get Adam Gase, I fire Jim Caldwell. If I can, I keep Caldwell.
Yeah.
Because to me, and this is something that I'll ask you about Adam Gase, because he's one of the candidates that we've brought up in every single job.
Because he's the hot guy.
John Fox said today in a press conference, I heard it on ESPN Chicago when him and Ryan Pace were talking. He said if we lose Adam, it's not something where it's like, oh, well, we ran Adam's system. No, it's our system.
Yeah.
We'll be fine. As a Bear fan, do you think that the Bears will be fine without Adam Gase?
I think they will. I mean, the Bears are slowly going to be moving on from Jay Cutler anyways in the next 2-3 years.
Do you think the only reason Cutler had a better season was because of Gase?
I think it helped, but I mean, you're still, it's John Fox that's really making these decisions, and he's the one who's really leading everything. I mean, yes, this is your offensive coordinator, but John Fox is making, the big decision, the big important decisions. I think there's a culture that's been set up. It's been established. It's a way to success. The next guy who comes in, who either steps in or steps up, is going to be somebody who essentially is going to be doing the same, more of the same. John Fox knows what he wants to do with the team, and he's going to keep doing that. Doesn't matter if Vic Fangio goes away, if Adam Gase goes away, doesn't matter who goes away. John Fox knows what he wants. He's going to do it.
One other position I want to talk about, and this will kind of put a kibosh on the coaches for this podcast. There's one coach that has not been fired. However, there's a chance he could be traded, and that's Sean Payton in New Orleans. There are 2 jobs, one which isn't an open job, the other which is. He's interested in being the coach of the Chargers or the 49ers. If you are the 49ers, if you're Jed York, do you trade a second-round pick for Sean Payton?
Well, I think it's funny for a coach to be like, yeah, you know who I'd like to coach? That team that doesn't need a coach.
Well,
I
it's
would love
weird
to
because
coach them.
I'm looking here on NFL.com. They're like GM tracker, and it says Payton has privately discussed his interest in the Chargers opening. I'm like, that's not an opening.
Yeah, there's no opening there.
There's no opening there. And then it said, and I quote, he let it be known he'd be interested in the Niners job. And that's per Ian Rappaport of NFL.com.
Yeah, there are too many things missing from that 49ers roster to trade any picks for a head coach. There's just too much wrong. The 49ers job is not something that gets fixed in 1 or 2 years. You don't give up something. Second-round picks are valuable. Don't give up anything. I don't think there's any reason to ever trade any draft pick at all for a coach.
Chip Kelly or Sean Payton, who would you rather have?
Well, I would rather have Sean Payton.
Actually, Chip Kelly, Mike Shanahan, or Sean Payton.
Mike Shanahan.
That's who you want?
Definitely.
Super Bowl winning coach.
Yeah.
Won them with Denver.
I mean, Sean Payton won a Super Bowl too, but I'm not going to trade a second-round pick for a coach when I need players.
Mike Shanahan got to work with one of the greatest quarterbacks and greatest running backs of all time, and John Elway, Terrell Davis. What was it? Shannon Sharp was also on that team, right? Was that Shannon Sharp or Sterling Sharp? I can't remember. The tight end. Shannon Sharp, to me in the 90s growing up, one of the greatest tight ends that I've ever watched. I know a lot of you are probably like, but Ricky, he may not be one of the top tight end of all time, but he's just one that I remember looking forward. There's one last thing, and this is only because I just remembered it. Mm-hmm. Did you hear what the Bills said to Rex Ryan today?
Good job.
If he doesn't make the play, he's safe for now, but if Rex Ryan and the Bills don't make the playoffs next year, he will be fired.
See, the Bills should be telling him, way to go, we beat the Jets.
Way to go, we had
a
respectable season for us.
Yeah, this was good. They're doing basically what they did with Doug Marrone, who we talked about a little bit ago, of, hey, you're doing pretty good. We're got an upward trend, even though we have E.J. Manuel as our quarterback, who's not a real quarterback.
And Tyrod Taylor.
Get the hell out of here.
Get the hell out of here.
No, for Doug Marrone, it was E.J. Manuel. That was his quarterback. And they kicked him out when he did good things with that guy who's not a really good quarterback. So now Rex Ryan, once again, a pretty good coach. Not a great coach, but a pretty good coach. He's in here. He does good things with your team. Your team believes in him because players, we talk about Tom Coughlin, but players love Rex Ryan. The New York Jets players, the locker room was upset when Rex Ryan got fired.
Well, I mean, look at both.
He does good things. The team believes in him, and they're going to say, you know what? If you don't get the playoffs next year, even though we were really close, you out of here.
I mean, look at how the Bills played both Jet games. Mm-hmm. Those were win it for the Gipper kind of games, and they won them both. They swept the Jets.
The thing that doesn't make sense to me in this situation is you're really going to tell, the coach of the Buffalo Bills, because you're not going to beat the New England Patriots.
No, Patriots.
You're not going to steal the division.
They're going to win the division every year until Brady retires.
The Jets are good too. The Dolphins are looking like, once again, maybe they're good. So you're playing for a wild card spot. Mm-hmm. You got 2 chances to get into the playoffs, and you're really going to tell this guy, hey, you're out of here if you don't? I think that's just dumb, especially early on. I mean, yes, the regular season is done and your season is done if you're the Buffalo Bills, but the playoffs haven't even started yet, and you're telling this guy, next year, if you're not here, you're fired. Literally, more than a year needs to go by.
The Bills virtually missed a playoff spot by 2 wins.
Yeah.
And also, because I went to look at the standings, and the NFL app, I see the top thing on their kind of article list, former USC coach Sarkisian interested in an NFL job. Do you take Sarkisian if you're an NFL team?
Nope.
Not at all? Don't even touch him?
No, not really. I'm not that interested.
I know I wouldn't touch him because of one thing, and this is all I'm going to say. Look at Johnny Manziel.
Yeah.
Same problem. Look at Johnny Manziel. Now, am I in the situation like where I am with Greg Hardy, where it's like you don't deserve to be coaching the game? No. Go ahead, get your problem fixed. Mm-hmm. However, as a GM, I would say, you know what? That's a problem I don't even want to touch because I don't even want that problem.
I actually wouldn't be surprised, Kevin Sumlin, if he starts making an appearance in some of these interviews, because he says
could get
he wants
fired.
it.
He could get fired because their AD just left.
Yeah, and he said he wants to go to the NFL. So maybe it's not even going to be a head coaching job, but maybe he sneaks into one of these teams that is going to have their offensive, coordinator go out. He's an offensive minded guy, right? He's not defensive. Yeah,
I'm not quite sure.
I think he's offensive minded, but I might be just thinking of that because of Texas A&M.
Because of Johnny Football.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he was a linebacker in college, so maybe not. But anyways, yeah, I just kind of feel like he's one of those guys who once these start rolling and teams aren't getting the guys they want, he might steal a few interviews.
Maybe he feels like, hey, you know what? I'm going to get fired from Texas A&M, so I should probably be looking for new jobs.
He's already expressed that he'd like to go and get an NFL job. So maybe the cards will play in his favor.
I don't know. It says here on Wikipedia all the other jobs he had. He's an offensive-minded guy because he's been a wide receivers coach, a quarterback coach, an OC, a tight ends coach. So, yeah, he's an offensive-minded kind of coach.